Honestly speaking, ain't got time for all that. I just don't have time for all that. I need to get into this today. Um, I very rarely, I don't know what's going on with this microphone. Let me bring this down here a little bit, bring it up. All right, so, all right, so, let me get myself straight. All right, so it's been a while since I've been up here. I've been discouraged in politics and been focusing on my music writing and been focusing on putting out new artists and focusing on my spirituality, making sure my inner man is just as great as my outer man. And my outer man, I've been focusing on that because I've gained some weight and now I'm on a weight loss program. I'm trying to get down to 200 pounds, and, with leaner muscles versus a whole bunch of fat. Whole bunch of fat. But I'm back. I'm back. And the reason what brought me back is this particular issue right here. Let me get the display capture off. And let me get this on. As you know, I'm a New Yorker. I've been a New Yorker for since 2010. So I've been a New Yorker for about 15 years. I've been in this place. Long time. About the same time I've been in Virginia. And I love this city. I love everything about this city. Weather kind of rough sometimes. Always something to do. Always somewhere to go eat. Always somewhere to go hang out. Always somewhere to go fellowship. Many churches, synagogues, you name it. Whatever religion you want, you got it. Whatever kind of movie you got it. Whatever kind of crew you like, you got it. Whatever kind of you like, you got it. Some dark, some light, you got it. All kind of stuff here in New York City. And I love this city. And the thing I don't like about it is the rent is too doggone high. Affordability here is not much. You got grown people in their 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and even the highest 80 that's roommating with people when these people should have their own place. And, without worrying about being kicked out. So um, jobs are pretty decent here. But that's not the point. This mayoral race has become one of the most interesting yet disgusting races I've ever seen in my life. You got a Democratic race that has open primary, which I appreciate, that has ranked choice voting, which I appreciate. I don't think it's open primaries now. I don't think it's open primaries yet. But we have ranked choice voting here. I don't know we got open primaries yet. Let me kind of look that up real quick. I don't think New York has open primaries yet. Give me a moment. Let me ask Chat GTP, do NYC have open primaries? Okay, NYC open primary election. It's unfair. All voters should be included in our election process. All right, let's see. Let's ask AI mode in Google. All right, no, New York City does not have open primaries. New York state law mandates closed primaries, which means you must be a registered member of a political party to vote in that party's primary election, which is unfair as an American, unfair as a citizen, to be forced to join a party to lend your support to a particular candidate. It's unfair. This is what you call totalitarianism and fascism when you're forcing me to vote for somebody that you like. That if I want to be a part of your party, I got to vote for your guy, or vice versa. That is not American at all. That's soft totalitarianism and authoritarianism. Because you want to have complete authority and total control of the political process. So here we are. We got a primary, and there's a guy in the Democratic Party that I may like and I want to support, but you telling me I got to join your church in order to give some money in the offering plate, or I got to join your church in order to show my appreciation to anybody in that church. I got to join. Are you crazy? But we do have ranked choice voting. So you got to start somewhere. So in the process of the Democratic primaries, the legendary crook Governor Nipple Rings. I'm not saying y'all crazy if you wear nipple rings. I don't. You know, some people like nipple rings. I mean, nah. But to be a governor and you not wearing no tank top and you showing your nipples to the whole of America and you trying to go after Trump, that don't look good. Now Trump might have a couple nipple rings himself, but he ain't showing it. But that's besides the point. You got Governor Nipple Rings, the mayor who did not do what he could to keep the rent as low as he could here in the city. But the only good thing he did was a moratorium on the rent here in New York State during COVID. They have to take a doggone pandemic to modernize the rent here in New York City. The man who have been charged consistently with filling up his employees. And look, I know from experience. I went to an event with Cuomo and met him, and he touched me. I ain't like the way he touched me, man. I wouldn't say inappropriately. I don't like nobody touching my belly. But he touched my belly. I ain't like that. I thought that was inappropriate. You know, who are you? You got nipple rings. Did I pull your nipple rings? No. So what give you the right to touch my belly? And then you got a man who decided to put elderly people, put COVID victims in a facility with elderly people who have comorbidities, and a lot of them died. So you got a pathological lying, bigot, racist, and I'm about to show you how much a bigot he is, with rape allegations. Well, I wouldn't say rape allegation, but with unusual sexual allegations, just like Trump. Now, I'm not talking about Trump. So you're talking about two people that's cut from the same cloth, because the rumor is you got pathological lying, bigot, racist, without sexual allegation. That was Trump, that was Biden, and that was Cuomo. Cut from the same cloth. Cuomo tried to act like he's better than everybody. This is the same guy who, when his dad was running for office against Mayor Koch, he was in charge of the campaign and he put out a bunch of ads, allegedly, saying, don't vote for the homo, vote Cuomo. Just exposing the mayor, Koch, as a drag queen homo. And hey, he may be. But the nerves of you to use that as a campaign slogan. Well, he did the same thing in this particular race with Mondami. Now, mind you, Mondami spanked his behind. Eric Adams knew he can't run in the Democratic Party. Number one, he was smart enough not to run in the Democratic Party, because if he did, they was going to rig it against him. He already have these allegations against himself. Here we got another brother, a corrupt crook that is controlled. He tried to talk like he's not controlled, but he's controlled. He's controlled like I don't know what. So you got Eric Adams. You got Governor Nipple Rings, the Grim Reaper himself, Cuomo. Look at that picture. You pull the Grim Reaper hood off him, he look like that. You got Mondami, the Democratic Socialist that everybody claimed to be a communist. Everybody claimed to be a socialist, and most folks don't even know, if you take your time and understand, there's a difference between communism and communism philosophy, democratic socialist and a socialist. A democratic socialist is what you call Sweden, Norway. Most of those white countries, they have everything for their people, and they live longer lives, and they work shorter times and have a fruitful life. But they ain't gonna let no people of color move over there. That's mostly white people. Democratic socialism is all right for white people in a white-led country. But when it comes to a a multicultural country like this one, especially a multicultural city like New York City, oh, it's communism. No, it's not. Now, I'm not rocking with democratic socialists. I like a little capitalism. I think there should be a balance between everything. I like making money. I don't want nobody touching into the money that I made. Let me make that decision. You don't mandate my money and what my money should go to. But you got Mondama, the fresh face, the new face, the former city council, spanked Governor Nipple Reigns behind. He just knew this thing was his. He just had it nipped in the bud. He did what Hillary Clinton did. It's mine. It's basically mine. You actually think that you can come from disgrace after all of the allegations? Well, they didn't find me guilty. Doesn't mean that you didn't do it. Well, they dropped all charges. Doesn't mean you didn't do it, dude. Doesn't mean you just because you was exonerated. Money talk and power walk, baby. We know who you are. Legendary Cuomo family. You're not just anybody. Mondami come from spoiled bratism. Trump come from spoiled bratism. Cuomo come from spoiled bratism. I can't say Eric came from that because he came from a middle class, traditional immigrant household in Queens. I can't say that about him, and I can't say that about the Republican. I can't even say his name, Mr. Guardian Angel himself. This man still lives in a one bedroom, a one studio apartment. So the first of all, Cuomo jumps in this race after getting his behind whooped as an independent. You talking about a sore loser. That's so shameful. He is so ashamed of that loss that he decided to run independent. He's a sore loser. He can't take a loss. You know why? How many times have he ever lost? A person who have not had a campaign of losing is going to refuse to lose unless they're in a position where they can't win regardless. And even then, they'll probably say it was rigged. Look at Trump. Look at him. Now, Trump might have every right to say it was rigged because the Democratic Party is known to rig elections. They're known to rig elections. They rigged it in Florida. They rigged it with the Bernie Sanders campaign. They rigged it over here in certain other aspects of the country. They're known to do that. When it comes to their primaries, they'll do that in a minute. At the end of the day, they make the decision who get to be the nominee, no matter your vote. This is in their bylaws. This is in the DNC bylaws. So he loses, and he is such a sore loser. This pathological line, fill him all the way up the skirt, up the bra, whatever you name it. I got my nipple rings on. Let me send your grandma over. Let me send all the COVID patients over to your grandma's house. This Grim Reaper couldn't take it, so he stays. He gets out the race, Democrat, well, we lose, and then he decided to run independent when we already had Mayor Adam running independent. Mayor Adam thought, hey, I have a chance to run, but Cuomo won't let Mayor Adam run independent to even the odds a little bit. He decides to run and cut into Mayor Adams' odds. And then he got the nerve to be the entitled one to sit here and say, hey, Eric Adams, you need to drop out. The entitled one, the Democrat that knew he was not going to win in the Democratic Party, decided to run independent, and then he gets a chance. His poll numbers go up a little bit. Cuomo gets his butt whooped in the Democratic primaries, decide to run as an independent, have no reason to run as an independent, but arrogance and cockiness and entitlement. That's the only reason he has. He lost fair and square to Mondami. Mondami spanked that butt, lost fair and square. He decides to go take what belongs to Eric Adams. Greedy son of a gun. So he goes and say, hey, my numbers are getting a little higher than yours as an independent. Not that much higher, but it's going a little higher than yours. I need you to jump out this independent race. The nerves of you to ask this man to jump out the race when you wasn't supposed to be in the race at all. You ran as a Democratic and lost. You have no reason to run as an independent except your arrogance. And of course, Mayor Adams confronted him about that. And this is what Mayor Adams had to say about that.
Breaking news right now. Here's Mayor Adams giving an update on his re-election campaign.
With you. Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar. I am in this race, and I'm the only one that can beat Mandani.
Now, he goes around and say Andrew Cuomo is a snake and a liar, and he is. And he's right. And guess who is one too? You, Mayor Adams. You're a snake. You're a liar. Well, let's continue to listen to what he had to say.
Andrew has had a career of pushing black candidates out of races.
And it's true, but it's not just black candidates at race. See, folks, you got to understand how the Democratic Party runs. I know because I've worked in the party. I worked behind the scene in the party. I was an organizer in the party. I know how these things work sometimes when it comes to these political affairs in the Democratic Party. That's why I'm not a Democrat. I'm an independent. I also know how some Republicans do their campaigns too. But one thing Republicans don't have is they don't have these delegates and super delegates, which sways the Democratic Party control of who gets to be the nominee. No matter how much you went out there and campaigned, how many phone calls you made, how many doors you had to knock on, how many people cuss you out, they still make the decision on who get to be the nominee. And at the end of the day, they're going to put in who they want to put in. Why do you think they keep pushing Cuomo in the race? Because they want to get rid of Madami. And you got the Democratic Party that's throwing their support around the independent instead of throwing their support around the Democratic nominee. Yeah, they say every year, oh, you need to get in line. You need to get in line. You're out of line. You're not a Democrat if you're not going to support this guy, or you ain't black if you don't support the nominee. But here we got Mandami, the nominee, and you got Democratic icon, disgrace, two nipple ring wearing. Let me stop. Hey, that's what you want to do. That's your thing, you know. Hey, on females, it's a little attractive. So I what can I say, you know? But I put a tank top on, bruh. Nobody want to see your nasty looking nipple rings, man. It's not like you fit, you know. So anyway, how come I got on that? That bothered me. You're the governor, man. You going out here doing a press conference showing your nipple ring, man. Come on, Governor Nipple Rings. Anyway, so the Democratic Party probably told him to run independent. He probably was happy. He probably planned on doing it anyway to stop Mandami. The nerves. I can't believe you denied me the great Cuomo, come from the great legacy of Mario Cuomo. Like my man, Ray said, I got to get his name, Stillwell, whatever his name. Like he said, you ain't no Mario Cuomo. You not even your brother. So the nerves of you to tell this guy, the former mayor, the current mayor, the incumbent, that I need you to step out the race. I need you to step out the race. Talking about entitlement. Talking about privilege. That's this guy. That's Andrew Cuomo. But let's let Eric keep talking.
You've heard me say it over again. Carl McCall, Charlie King, David Patterson. This is his career that must stop with me. This city can't go backwards, New Yorkers. This is a city that I inherited, where crime was out of control, COVID, no one wanted to be on our subway system. We watched what happened in housing. The reason people are having these conversations is because I made this city safe. I committed myself and dedicated myself to a city that I love. And I'm going to continue to.
Now, Mayor Adams, you can't say the city is safe. You made the city safe. Neil, did you know before you become mayor, the city was a little more safer than it is right now? I mean, thanks to the Biden's agenda, we had more criminals from overseas coming into this country with the sole purpose of taking advantage of the American judicial system. They know the judicial system more than most Americans. Now I want to read you something from New York Post, which is getting on my last nerve, because the New York Post, which is pretty much a conservative paper, is trying to drive the Republican nominee out of the race. And he have every right to be in the race. The nerves of you, and Cuomo got the nerves to be telling him, you need to step down. That's why I like this guy. He a real deal New Yorker, tough guy. You know, I call him Batman because he did start the Guardian Angels, and he did work with all communities to start chapters to protect their communities, which what we in our communities, from the Black Panthers all the way to the Nation of Islam, we preach protect your own community, get your own armed guard. White people do it. They call them militias. So I applaud him for that. And people not giving him a chance, and everybody's saying, hey, giving every excuse for this guy not to win. He wears a red beret. So he represented his people. He represented something that he started that is legendary. Now, Mayor Adams sitting here talking about Cuomo, rightfully so, like the dog that he is, dog when it comes to attitudes and mentality, when it comes to politics, and talk about how he do black candidates in the Democratic Party is known to shim-sham black candidates. And I told you the story before. They never wanted Andrew Gillum to run. The only reason they side with Andrew Gillum because he beat Bob's granddaughter. Bob's granddaughter was supposed to be the one that's running. They did not give him no support at all, no database access, no money, no nothing. They drained him. I mean, they pretty much cut him away. Bernie Sanders had to come in and help him with our revolution. He had to help Ayanna Pressley with our revolution. Cory Bush with our revolution. Heck, he had to do that with AOC. They was not supporting AOC. They did not give her access to anything from the DNC. It was all Crowley, the legendary Democratic next in line to Nancy Pelosi before Hakeem Jeffrey, and he got his behind whooped. And you start to see the same pattern to happen in the Democratic Party, and it's happening in the Republican Party too. You old geezers who think you're going to hold on to these positions, you shouldn't be there no more than 8 years anyway. If the president can't have no position for 8 years, if y'all crying about him being the king and trying to have more than 8 years, you don't supposed to have 8 years. Y'all got the nerves to talk about somebody wanting to be a president more than 2 terms, and y'all been in umpteen years. The nerves of you, the hell of you. Now, I don't think none of y'all should be in there more than 8 years. Heck, I don't even think none of y'all should be there 4 years. But if you're getting the job done, I'll give you 4 more. But I don't think you should be there no more than 10. Across the board, I said 10 years, that's it. Give you a decade of politics, that's it, move on. So Mayor Adams sitting here talking about Cuomo, kind of acting like he upset and pissed off. The nerves of you to tell me to drop out. I'm not dropping off, Negro. You lost your race. You leave. You have no right to be here. You lost from your own party, from your own people here in New York City. Your people in New York City resoundingly reject you because they know that you have no plan to do right by New Yorkers. You never did. You only have a plan to do right by yourself. And that's the reason why you're still running. But let it keep going.
Do that. This polo shirt that I'm wearing that says Eric Adams, Mayor of the City of New York, I'm going to wear that for another 4 years. We can't go backwards. We can't have a city that's filled with encampments like I inherited. We can't have a city where crime and guns are on our streets like I inherited. We can't have a city where unemployment was high across the city, but specifically for black and brown communities like I inherited, while children were not getting a quality education.
You guys just can't say black. You being a black man just can't say black people and other people across this community. You got to say black and brown. You can't say specifically in my community, the community I was raised in. You just can't say it. And this is what turns black people off from you. This is why black people are not voting. Because you don't have a plan for them. Let me get off this subject. That's a subject for another day.
Education, like I inherited, where low-income people were not receiving the support they deserve, like I inherited. What we have done in 3.5 years shows why we have to continue the success we have.
What have you done in 3.5 years? What have you done in 3.5 years, Mayor Adams? The housing is still crap. One thing I can say about Cuomo is he was in charge of the housing authority when he was with Clinton, and it still was crap. You know, the housing was a little bit better, but I wouldn't fault that on him. You know, but he do have experience in as the HUD director across the United States. Didn't do much, but at least he sat in the chair. You ain't sat in the chair. What did you do housing-wise for New York? You got more corporate buildings being built up than housing. And when all that housing is tagged up, not to NYCHA, not to rehabilitate NYCHA housing, not to funding empty buildings that's already empty and, you know, are empty hotels or abandoned hotels. You don't have a plan to fix those and make them into efficiencies or studios. No, you sell us out to the corporations that are building high-rise, high-end apartments by telling them you got to make 10% of them affordable housing and tag them up to New York Housing Connect. That's not winning for you New Yorkers. And here, guy, I'm a guy who wasn't born here. I got enough sense to see that that's not winning for New Yorkers. Selling them out to a housing connect where they have to be in a lottery for 400 million years before they finally get a spot. When there's plenty of abandoned hotels. What are y'all doing with that hotel over there by the airport at JFK? It's so many hotels, abandoned buildings here that you could put money into. That's why I like Stillwell, his plan concerning housing. Like I said, I don't take sides. I look at your plans. I look at your hunger. I look at your heart. I look at your past, present, and future and see if you really do have a heart and a plan to do these things. You don't have to keep tagging us or selling us out to corporate or to residential, high-end residential building businesses. And what do you mean by that? Every building in New York that pops up is not affordable. Most of these buildings are expensive. You can make six figures and you can't even afford to stay in some of these apartments. But there is city law to say that you got to lot out a certain amount of these apartments for people on fixed income. But the key is if you're on fixed income and you lose that house, that particular apartment automatically go back to its original purpose, and that's high-end payment for housing. You're going to pay money for it.
I have two spoiled brats running for mayor. They were born with silver spoons in their mouths, not like working class New Yorkers. I'm a working class New Yorker. They are not like us.
And then he's going to use Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar was not talking about that, Mary Adams. That song was not about the working class. That song was about foundational Black Americans, dude. It was not about the working class. So don't you dare. But he's right. He come from a working class. But as he got older, he began to be elite. He became an elitist. Don't let this man fool you. Eric Adams is elitist as they come. He still try to act like he's the people's mayor. Like he's the mayor of the hood, the mayor of the street. Man, Deacons had more juice than you got, dude. And still will say, Mr. Hang in the club at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, knowing you got to do some governing the next day. Anyway, let me keep going.
They've never had to fight. They never had to struggle. They never had to go through difficult times like you and I had to go through, New Yorkers. This is such a pivotal and important period, and we have to get it right. And so there's a lot of reports that I'm in Washington on Monday.
So you get the gist of what I'm saying, because a few weeks later, we get this.
To replace him as mayor. Adams dropped out of the race last month after denying reports President Trump offered him a spot in the administration to suspend his campaign. Adams and Cuomo watched the Knicks games together last night after the mayoral debate. And during the debate, Cuomo traded barbs with Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani and Republican Curtis Sliwa over safety, housing, and standing up to President Trump.
You have never had...
And got his behind whooped. They're going to show good clips to make Cuomo look good. But Cuomo got his behind stumped on that debate stage. Silwa whooped his behind. Mamdani whooped his behind. But let's keep it going.
A job, you've never accomplished anything. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. The issue...
The guy was city council. That's a job. You the one have a silver spoon. Both of y'all got a silver spoon in your mouth. But that's besides the point. Let me keep going.
Is that we have all experienced your experience. We just had a former governor say in his own words that the city has been getting screwed by the state. Who was leading the state? It was you.
Zohran, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin.
That's my guy.
And Andrew, your failures could fill a public school library in New York City.
Now let me stop here for a second. Curtis Sliwa is a legend here in New York City and across the world when it comes to so-called vigilante justice or community policing, true community policing. He was about that. Sliwa were friends with the Black Panthers. Sliwa is respected in every community. But that's about it. He's a cat lover, and he do have his side that I don't like. But among these 3 candidates, when it comes to love and the fight for New York, I trust him more than these other 2. See, the first one been selling us out. I got a feeling the middle one's going to sell us out. But, of course, you won't know until you give that person a chance. But I know Stilwell is New York all day. And most people haven't took the time out to listen to Stilwell. They haven't looked at videos, before here. See, I've seen videos concerning him. I listen to his radio station. I watched some of his videos, his interviews, before he decided to run for mayor. And I understand why he's running for mayor. I don't endorse him. I don't endorse none of these tickets. But I can tell you about Silva. He's New York all day. He's more committed to New York than these 2 people. Now, whether he's committed to the service of uplifting Black people, I don't see that. Therefore, I'm out. But if he had a plan to help the black community get to the levels that they need to be, I will be out up front making phone calls, knocking on doors, and everything for Silva. The other two doesn't have it either. So if none of them have a plan to uplift the black people, because New York do owe, just the city of New York, let alone the state, owe foundational black Americans reparations big time. Big time. But I'm not going to get into that story. This is about the mayoral race. But yeah.
Now, Adams' expected endorsement of Cuomo could shake up the race with Election Day less than 2 weeks away. ABC News political director Avery Harper's here for more on that. Hi, Avery. So Adams' polling numbers were pretty low when he dropped out, but he is the current mayor, right? Everybody knows him. So how much could this endorsement impact the race?
I think it's unclear. Yeah, you note that Eric Adams, when he left the race, he was polling in single digits. So
you can't trust these pollers anyway, and most of these polling they're using are Democratic-led media polling. Of course, they're going to push Cuomo over the edge, and they're going to push Mondami over the edge because Democrats are going to make everybody else look like they're not polling that well. But here's my whole point here, and I think, and give me a moment. Let me come back up here. Let me look at myself real quick because I think it's getting a bit dark in here. All right, so going back to this. All right, so him dropping out of the race ain't going to do nothing. How can a man that's polling in single digits is going to all of a sudden help Mayor Cuomo get up there? So Cuomo, your push for this man to drop out doesn't mean anything. It's not going to help you at all. It's not going to help you at all. You don't have a ticket for him to put for you to put on. He's already been in the mayor. He's been in the spot that you're trying to get. You old booty, man. You're trying to take a position that's already been taken. He don't think you're going to do better than him. But he's going to say, hey, we got to do whatever we can to keep this communist from being in office. He's going to destroy New York City. And we don't know that. Maybe he will, maybe he don't. I know all of y'all are destroying New York City. And this comes from a person that wasn't born here. A person that wasn't born here. I'm from South Florida. But I've been in New York City a decade. And I'm in love with this city. And I want this city to have affordable housing. I want this city to have jobs. I want this city to go back to manufacturing. I want this city to be right by the unions. I want this city, a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm looking for a candidate that's going to focus on the working class. And when I see Mondami and where he came from, I'm wondering, okay, are you really going to focus on working class? Because you come from a silver spoon. Cuomo come from legendary silver spoon. Silva knows working class people all his life. The dude lived in a studio apartment building, a co-op. He's not living in some lavish place. Anyway, let me get off this. So you get the gist of this. Mayor Adams talked all that trash and decided that he's going to support Cuomo.
Fixed, but my brother.
So here he is, about to look like an ass. That's a donkey, you know. About to look like an ass after all that tough talk. Oh, this guy's racist. He's legendary for killing black candidates. You talk all that black talk, trying to expose the white supremacists, which Cuomo is. Trying to expose him. He's a low-key, undercover, suspected white supremacist. Suspect allegedly. Actions speak louder than the word, and I'm going to prove to you his racist actions. You finally decide that you ain't have to endorse him. What caused you to endorse him? Of course, your endorsement don't mean jack because you was in the single digits and not going to help this dude. Mondami is going to win. And Silva may surprise you. He may end up coming in second And I'll be surprised. Who knows? He may come in. They may win by a hair. We don't know. We've been shocked. Nobody thought Mandami was going to beat the legendary Cuomo. But he spanked his butt. Because people sick and tired of these old school, never do nothing, talk, all don't not about it at all politician like Andrew Cuomo. But here's Mayor Eric Adams eating crow, eating feet, and eating Cuomo right now.
You know, many people don't know because I got my tooth fixed, but my brother threw me to the sidewalk and chipped my tooth when I was a little boy. But when families are attacked, brothers come together.
Brothers come together.
They understand that you have to.
You got families coming together. Two Democrats running for the primary office. Not the primary office. You got two Democrats that's so much of a punk to run. Mayor Adams was so much of a punk to run in the Democratic Party, he decided to run independent because he knew he didn't have a shot. Democrats hate him. And he's trying to save face with the Democrats by supporting another one who people have rejected for the nominee in New York as a Democrat, Cuomo. The only person that have the right to be standing up there running for office is Silva and Mandami, not these two jerks, crooks, conmans. The only two people that have right to run and should be running neck to neck on a two-person ticket, excuse me, I'm getting tongue-tied, is Mandami and Silva. They won their prospective nominees. These guys coming in, sliding in at the last minute, thinking they're going to have a chance to cut in.
Protect the family. And immigrant families are under attack in the city. Working class people are under attack. African Americans and Hispanic families are under attack. Italian and Irish families are under attack. When you give the finger to a statue that's representative to the Italian community, you're saying you don't give a damn.
So what he's talking about is back when he was younger, Mandami gave he gave the bird to Columbus. And now here we are. This guy got the nerves to talk about immigrants and black and brown, and he's defending Christopher Columbus and shooting down the man who gave Christopher Columbus the finger. I give Christopher Columbus the finger. He's not an Italian hero. They trying to hold on to him as a hero, but he was a genocidal maniac. But then again, I guess that was the same thing with the crime families, the five families. This guy's something else. And so you understand why I've got out of the game, but I just couldn't let this go because election is coming up soon.
When you tell Jewish residents that you need globalized intifada, you're saying you don't care.
Most folks don't know what globalized intifada mean. They're trying to smear this guy as much as they can. Let's look at so of course you know I'm over here in AI mode. Let's over here global. I'm probably put global empanada. Oh, it won't let me go back here. Oh man. Globalize the intifada. All right. Globalize the intifada is a slogan used for some pro-Palestine activists that is widely interpreted. Doesn't mean it, but is widely interpreted as a call for global support for Palestinian resistance against Israel. What's wrong with resistance? But they want to link it to violence, which has been linked to violence. The slogan is controversial because the word intifada translated to uprising and referred to violent uprising in the late 1980s and the 2000s. 2005. Many Jewish groups and individuals view the slogan as anti-Semitic and calls for the violence against the Jewish people worldwide, citing a rise in anti-Semitic incidents following October the 7th, 2023 attacks. Now, of course, we know terrorist attacks against Israel is wrong, and a lot of people died, but it's still no reason to just kill try to go all your way to wipe out an entire lineage of people in Palestine because of something Hamas did. And anybody that's Palestinian is known as a Hamas supporter. And they figure since you haven't kicked them out, you must want them there. So all of you guys are Hamas supporters, which is different. When Trump was not going for some of the stuff Bibi Netanyahu was doing, people started calling Trump, Trump of all people, Hamas. I'll label you Hamas. I'll label you anti-Semitic if you are not 100%, and the key is 100%, doing the will of Israeli existence. If you see, most people are not against Israel. They are against that government. They are against the Zionist philosophy of Bibi Netanyahu, which is extreme. And if you really a Christian and you really understand who Christ is, you wouldn't support this version of Zionist political party in Jerusalem. I mean, in Israel. The Bibi Netanyahu is okay with slaughtering people who God loves. But yeah, this is what Mayor Adams throwing that out there, just like the typical Republican, just like the typical racist, trying to say globalize the intifada mean rise up and kill the Jews. When it is interpreted that way, which means if you interpret it that way, it probably doesn't mean it that way. It just means we need to rise up. So I guess black people was doing the intifada when we say we got to rise up and defeat white supremacy. And I guess you call that anti-Semitism when Malcolm X said, by any means necessary. But yet Malcolm X sit there and tell you, look, we're not for harming people. But when people try to harm us, we gonna get you. We ain't gonna let you just harm us. It ain't gonna happen. So this is Mayor Adams pushing propaganda against Mandami. Let me get back to it.
When you go after communities and state that you're going to raise their taxes because of their ethnicity, that's what black and brown communities are going through right now. Taxes are higher in their community because...
Who was saying that? I know Democrats have, they say that a lot. Republicans say that a lot. But where did Mandami say that? Where in his platform he say he's going to raise taxes? And it's okay to raise taxes if you target the taxes for the betterment of New Yorkers, because New York is tax haven. It's a tax. I wouldn't say it's a tax haven, but New York is a tax heaven for the rich. Man, New York will tax you on anything. You got all kind of taxes: fart tax, smoke tax, ugly knuckles tax. They'll tax you on anything around here. Here you are, you making $25 an hour and you don't see it because of the taxes in New York. $25 an hour in another place is good money. A house, 2 cars, raising a family and a wife at home. But not here in New York. Why? Because they tax too much. Let's keep going, Adams.
Of what was done. We're not going backwards, folks. And so this was a grueling time. And yes, am I angry that I'm not the one taking down Zoran, the socialist and the communist? You're darn right I am. But
Republican talking points again. The Republican talking points. The smear talking points. Now, I'm not no Mandami guy. But we clearly seeing you trying to make this guy look like this is the thing, same thing they did to Obama. Hillary Clinton, Democratic, did it, showing him in Muslim guards, which was really, he was doing the religious practices of his father when he went to visit Kenya. They're going to take that picture and try to make him seem like he was down with bin Laden. And here Mayor Adams, a black man of all people who know about racism, prejudice, and all that. But then again, he's turned elitist now, and he's about the money. He's about that bag. Gonna do the same thing that to Mandami as they did to Barack Obama. This con artist.
You know what? The city means more to me than anything. And it is time for us as a family to come together. New York can't be Europe, folks. I don't know what is wrong with people. You see what's playing out.
New York is already Europe, dude. We got more Europeans in New York than anybody. New York is Europe. You notice he said Europe. He didn't say Russia. He didn't say the Middle East. He didn't say Cuba. Because he know Mandami is not no communist. Communists, communists laugh at you when you say that. They say, you're looking at this, these are not communist policies, man. Don't even insult us. This is baby stuff right here. Here are what we believe. This is Swiss out philosophy. This is Norway. This is Denmark. This is their policies.
In other countries because of Islamic extremism. Not Muslims, let's not mix this up, but those Islamic extremism.
So you're trying to call Mandami a Muslim extremist. You're doing the same thing the white Democrats did to Obama. And the Republicans took that playbook and did it to Obama. You're smearing and lying. You're smearing and lying. Obama, despite the good and the bads of Obama, even John McCain said, nah, stop that. He's not that. He's an American. A fine man with a beautiful family, and he loves this country. We just disagree on some things. Yeah, you got this frog-looking, Lord forgive me. Lord forgive me. You got this man going around smearing, pissing on, trashing a fellow Democrat. Adams supposed to be a Democrat. Cuomo was supposed to be a Democrat. Instead of them supporting the Democratic nominee, I see two punk losers. Two punk. Two BITC. That's what I see. Two PBs. Whining and complaining and upset because Mandami is running away with this thing. I have more respect for Curtis Stilwell than any of these turkeys. I have more respect for Curtis Stilwell than Mandami because I don't know Mandami like that. I don't know if he can do all this thing. I know what Curtis Stilwell done in this city. As a public figure without an office, without a political office. And the only reason he running is because people told him to run. And that's what he's doing. But he's surprised that the people who told him to run are not supporting him because he decided to run as a conservative, populist conservative instead of populist Democrat. Now, how Curtis run as a Democrat, he will run away with that nomination. Because if you look at some of his policies, not all, some are old school, ain't going same old, but a lot of policies are pretty good. Just like a lot of Mandami policies are excellent. The problem is you got to explain and share how these things going to happen, how you're going to do it. Glad you can do it, but how you're going to do it. And that can get me the vote. But you just saying you're going to do it ain't going to get you my vote.
That are burning churches in Nigeria, that are destroying
what they got to do with him?
In Germany, that have taken over the logical thinkings. And that's what I'm fighting for. I'm fighting.
That's why I can't take this guy serious. I'm done with this fool.
For.
I'm done with him. I'm done with this fool. Hey, mommy. So, this is what you call racism in politics. You got Silva, who believes he's a communist, despite some of the things that Silva has done when it came to protecting New Yorkers on the mass transit and the community efforts he's done for his animals and the homeless, despite his efforts to teach different communities to protect and police their own communities, don't depend on NYPD. Despite those, he's calling him a communist socialist. Cuomo is calling him one, and Adams is calling him one. And he's running as a democratic socialist who has nothing to do with communism. Now, can he flip the script and say, gotcha, now mayor, I'm going to do communist stuff? Yeah, but he's not running as a communist, and y'all need to stop lying about that. And I'm always going to be truthful about you. These guys on the smear campaign because Mandami is winning. And they got to find a way to take him down. Curtis Silva is the only thing between Mandami and Cuomo. But if Curtis Silva drop out the race, Cuomo, what in the hell make you think you're going to get his supporters? They don't like you. Republicans don't like you. Well, they like me over Mandani. No, they will stay home. They would rather stay home, pack their clothes, and move out of New York City than have you become the mayor or him become the mayor. You're not going to get Curtis Silva votes, especially after you do a foul thing like this.
Zohran Mamdani's opponents want you to believe he's an inexperienced radical whose policies will make New York City more dangerous. But what do his actual supporters think?
Mamdani isn't crazy.
He's just trying to even the playing field.
You know, give everyone a fair shot. Sure, he said multiple times we need to defund the police, but that was just a metaphor.
And yes, he did say crime is a social construct. But that was also a metaphor.
His main backer, the Democratic Socialists' ideas are common sense, such as
decriminalizing misdemeanors, like shoplifting,
third-degree assault, trespassing, prostitution,
and drunk driving.
With plans to decriminalize all drugs, Mamdani will be a job creator for drug dealers.
Instead of helping us homeless get off the streets and into the mental health facilities we need, he wants to give us safe injection sites to do crack and let us sleep in subway carts.
These are actual policies Mamdani and the DSA want to implement on day one.
When a woman's being domestically abused, she finally won't have to deal with some pesky...
You see how blatant racist and condescending this video is? This is scum. This is the flyers that Andrew Cuomo put out that said, don't vote for Cuomo. Vote for Cuomo, don't vote for the homo. This is scumbag politics. He did the same thing to Cynthia Nixon when she was running for governor, and he got afraid that she was going to whoop his behind. He came out with a smear campaign. All these fools know how to do is when they're losing, they're going to try to smear you instead of just saying, hey, you won fair and square. This is what cowards and punks do. Cuomo is a coward. Eric Adams is a coward. And Silva, thank God you didn't do this, but don't you lean over and coward too, because you're starting to gain some respect. As a Republican, you're starting to gain respect. A lot of New Yorkers don't understand why you ran under the Republican, but I see why. We got too much foolishness here in New York. You don't want to wrap yourself around this foolish party. And the foolishness they do, like what Adams and Cuomo is doing. This is trash politics. And Silva, don't you get involved with it. You're going to lose. If you're going to lose, take it like a man, live the fight another day, and continue to do what you're doing. If you win, congratulations. But don't be like these two sore loser cowards doing whatever they can to take the spot. This ain't about protecting New York from communists, from radical Islamic. This ain't about that. This is about them not being able to be used as a power grabber going forward, because the people are not with these numbnuts and they're so sore losers. Let me go back up to here and I'm done. I'm supposed to be catching a movie, man. A movie. Take time out of your schedule and go over Mandami. Take time out of your schedule and go look at Silva. These two other turkeys, cut them out. The two people that should be running for the mayoralship is Mandami and Silva. I would say Mandami, Silva, and Eric Adams, because Eric Adams didn't run as a Democrat, so he's not a loser, so to speak. He's a quitter. Mayor Cuomo is a loser. A loser. He lost his race. Mandami spanked his behind, and he should be out here supporting Mayor Adams, if not Mandami. But no, it's all about me. Oh, I'm going to run because I need y'all to support me. I'm the one that can do it. I'm the only one can do it because of my pedigree, because of my legend, because of my position as governor and for all these years and a lieutenant governor. I'm the guy that you need to save New York. You lost, dude. You lost your race. The people reject you. You shouldn't be in that race. This should be a three-way race between the person running independent, the Republican, and a Democratic nominee. Not a Democratic loser who's running independent for no reason at all but ego. And the nerves of you to ask Adams to drop out, and the nerves of you Adams to drop off when he asks you. You're supposed to be a tough guy, cop. You know, I mean, come on, Brooklyn, Queens. You're supposed to be a tough guy. You're a coward, man. You let Andrew Cuomo punk you out of this office. I would have stayed in till the end, even at 1%. Oh, I'm wasting my people's money. Because you're running solo. You're not running under slate like Silva. And the nerves of you, Cuomo, to ask this man who won his nominee, who have the right to be in this race, you don't. Asking him to step out, all because we all need to save the city from this communist and put me, the capitalist / fill her up, like to touch your women. I wear nipple rings and I'll put your grandma back I'll put these people back in the hospital with your grandma if we have another pandemic. You're going to let this Grim Reaper sexual assault her, allegedly. Do nothing for the state of New York when it comes to housing. Only do what you want to do. Didn't even legalize marijuana unless it was, you only did it because it was a campaign promise that you were trying to hold on to the election. We know what you were doing. Guys, I'm done. The nerves of Cuomo. This disgraceful lizard of a human being. This scumbag politician. He's a scumbag politician, always was and always will be. He'll do anything to win, including smear you and lie on you and just bring up all kind of false accusations like he's doing with Mondami, like he did with Ed Koch, like he did with Cynthia Nixon, a scumbag. And I don't want no scumbag running nothing in New York no more. It's time for his legacy and the Cuomo legacy to die in politics. The day of the Cuomos, the Clintons, and Obamas and all that, those days are done. This is a new generation. A new generation of thinking, a new generation of living, a new generation of with more of a fervent attitude toward politics, more smarter generation. These cryptic old politicians are no longer powerful anymore, and they're doing whatever they can to keep the power. Mayor Adams, such a disappointment. Such a disappointment. The black man who likes to tout his blackness caved to another pathological line, bigot, racist, rape allegation. How can you call him a racist? If that doggone ad was not racist, you need to go get your brain cells checked. That's one of the most racist ad I ever seen. That's up there with the Willie Horton ad. Racist. Racist toward black people. Racist toward, did you see the black pimp in there with the white women in the van? Black men is not trafficking white women. Racist. And got the pimp coat on and, the Dolomite hat on. That's racist in your face, using a Madonna ad to be racist toward black people, racist to people who are not probably high IQ. That's the man and the woman in the house with the, I guess, domestic abuse situation and things like that. Line upon line racism that these people are committing crimes and tearing up New York City. These type of people. They show nothing about these corporations and their CEOs and CFOs robbing their employees blind. And can't wait for Trump to start that tax haven in Gaza. To move there just to get a tax write-off. All it is going to be another Turk and Caicos. No. Shame on Mayor Adams. He's a disgrace. Shame on Cuomo. He's been a disgrace. And Silva, you have a right to be in that race. But you watch yourself too. Because you can wipe out your whole legacy in New York as a renegader, a fighter, a defender, a real true Batman, and teaching other people how to be Batman in their neighborhood. You got a legacy of serving the people of New York in all kind of different ways. Don't you throw it away talking like these two idiots. And you're going to lose gracefully, and continue the good work that you do in New York City. Don't be like these two fools who've done more harm to New York City than help. I'm Bobby Brown with the Bobby Brown Show. I know it's been a while since I've been up here. I rarely come up here, and it's probably going to be the same thing. So catch me while you can. I'll at you later. Peace.